Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It is early in the morning, and by early I mean it's around 10:30. I don't have my phone right by me at the moment, but for me that's early on a Sunday morning. I actually have to run out the door in about 40 minutes to go and meet a couple of friends because I'm gonna go see The Office, the parody musical in downtown Toronto, and it's a bit of a trek for me to get there. But I did want to do a full day foundation wear test for you with a foundation that I've been playing around with for the last couple of weeks. It is this one right here from Maybelline. This is the Dream Urban Cover Foundation. I have it in two shades. I bought it in Classic Ivory as well as Warm Nude. I am a bit on the tan side at the moment because it is summer and I've gotten a little bit of color. So for me, when I mix these two together, it makes my perfect shade. If it was any other time of the year, I think Classic Ivory would do me well, but when I add a little bit of Warm Nude to it, things just warm up a little bit. This is supposed to be a full coverage protective makeup that has sunscreen in it. There is an SPF of 50 in here. It is antioxidant rich and it offers pollution protection, which I think is kind of cool. You do get 1 fluid ounce of product in here, and it is one of these little squeezy tubes, which I don't mind. As long as my fingers don't have to go in a foundation, I'm okay with that. Although, I would prefer a pump. This is a plastic bottle. It's similar to the packaging from the IT Cosmetics foundations or CC creams. And it does have an expiry date on here, which again is something else that I appreciate. And I think it should, especially if it does contain sunscreen. You want to know when that sunscreen is good until. And this particular foundation, at least for me, expires in April of 2020. So that's given me about a year's worth of use out of these products, which I think is quite reasonable. Without any further ado, I am just going to put my hair up because I'm getting hot. I'm gonna prime using my Dior primer. I really have been loving this primer. It feels good. I think my skin is ready to go. So what I'm gonna do is squeeze out a little bit of this product like so. You can see it's a little bit runny, but not really. I am just going to mix these two together with my beauty blender, and I'm gonna zoom you in and start the application process. And there's the foundation blended all over my skin, and honestly, I think it's looking really, really good. I like the coverage that it's providing. I think it's covered up most of my redness, and I can always tell that because of this area here where I typically get my rosacea. It hasn't clung to any of my dry patches, which I think is quite impressive. I find that tends to be an issue with some of the drugstore foundations. They don't have enough hydrating properties in it, but this foundation here is sitting remarkably well on my skin. I think I did lay it on a little bit thick. You could probably use a little less product and achieve a more natural look. It does have, I think, a satin or a natural finish. I wouldn't say this is a matte foundation. My skin just looks a little bit on the shiny side, which isn't necessarily an issue, but because I have super oily skin, I'm gonna try and mattify this as much as possible. And that's the one thing I am gonna say about this particular foundation is that you have to set it right away if you have oily skin, because it does have a habit of shifting around a little bit. So I am gonna quickly go ahead and set it right now with some loose powder. I'm not gonna add any concealer to my face today just because I feel like this has done a really good job of even covering up my under eye area and all of my redness. So I'm just gonna go forth as is. To set my face, I'm just gonna use my Patrick Starrr and MAC loose powder. I'm gonna grab that on a beauty blender, and I am just going to quickly set some things under my eye. I'm gonna add some to my nose, down here, here, you know the drill. And there we have it. I am looking a lot more matte for sure, and I'm hoping that this is gonna help lock in the foundation for the rest of the day. I'm gonna go off camera now so I can finish off the rest of my face, and I will be right back. The rest of my face is now on, and I love how I'm looking right now. I am nice and matte. All of my powders are blended beautifully on top of this foundation, and so far I have zero complaints. Seeing as I'm also running a little bit behind schedule, I don't have much more time to talk about what's going on with my face. So instead, I'm gonna bring you along with me to downtown Toronto, and I will check in with you in just a quick second. Look who's with me. We've got Anita. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday indeed. We have gotten ourselves to this little coffee house. We're just waiting for our food to come out. And our show is going to be starting momentarily, so we are probably going to scarf this down and then walk on over to the theater. While I'm here, and since the lighting is good, I am going to do a brief foundation check-in. And I have been sweating. We've been walking and it is hot outside. And so far, I'd say things are looking pretty good. I am getting a little bit oily, but that's to be expected. Underneath my glasses, we're still looking relatively good, although there is a little bit of shifting. I am going to touch up a little bit later on, but so far, so good.
Yes.
We're here. Hello, Dunder Mifflin,
Really?
and
Isabella.
for the record, Jim Halpert,
Isabella.
Dwight K. Schrute, Pam's desk, and I'm sure Michael is right behind there. Dunder Mifflin. I can't wait for this show. So here we are at intermission, and so far it's really, really good. I am thoroughly enjoying this. I think Anita is as well. Clarissa might be, Justin might be. What do you guys think so far?
So good. So funny. I'm crying.
It's Jim and Pam. It's Jim and Pam. Anita, what do you think?
It's good. I
don't know. There's a lot of song and dance, I can tell you that much. It's definitely a fun parody. It's not exactly what The Office would be like, as you would imagine if you are a hardcore fan, but it's definitely doing it, I think, some pretty good justice.
Yeah, core references.
Right?
Yeah.
Dwight.
Yeah.
Oh, Dwight. Enough said.
Yeah. Dwight K. Schrute. Anyways, the lighting is kind of bad in here, so I don't think I'm gonna do a check-in for foundation, but when I get outside and better lighting, I'll do a check-in then. Until then, see you later. Finished the show. It was spectacular. We're now at a restaurant called Holy Chuck. Clarissa and Justin are back there ordering. Anita and I are already sitting waiting for our food. We've got our drinks, and I figured this might be a good time for a check-in since the lighting is actually quite flattering in here. So let me just put the camera up to my face. You know what? It's sitting really nice on my cheeks. Chin's looking good. Upper lip is looking good, although, like it's gathering around my nostrils. It's definitely shifted quite a bit around the bridge of my nose. You can see some really nice, like, right there. Foundation just gathering around. Forehead still looks good. You know, not much redness is peeking through. So overall, I think it's holding up well. I'm gonna do a touch-up when I go to the bathroom later, because you know I'm gonna need to. And yeah, that's it. What did you guys end up ordering?
Junior cheeseburger.
All right.
Misunderstood breed.
Ooh, what is that?
It's like a beef patty and then a what do you call it? Bacon patty. Yeah.
Bacon patty.
Did I do too much with the bacon strips too? I guess I'll find out.
I patties at me. All right, guys, we got our feta, creamy feta fries?
I think so.
Creamy feta fries. Creamy.
Fries in a meal.
And then we got junior cheeseburgers. Looking good. Here's mine. I added a little bit of extra bacon to it.
There we go.
Not just tomatoes. We're about to eat.
Veggie burger.
Or hold the meat. Or do what I did in freaking LA at In-N-Out.
No bun.
Oh my God, guys. I wanted to be, honestly, I wanted to be that bougie asshole who ordered off the secret menu. So I'm like, yeah, so I got a Napoleon Bonaparte or something like that. And then,
what is that?
she's like, I don't know. So literally, it comes out on a piece of paper like this. It's just 2 patties and some cheese in between. I'm like, where's the bread? So Anita was gracious enough to share her fun with me. What a fiasco. I'll never do that again. Always just get it animal style.
And what did you get?
Just a junior cheeseburger, lettuce, tomato, onion. Of course, it's got a good classic burger going on. Classic. Atta girl. Atta boy.
And I'm back home now. I had such an amazing day out. The musical was fantastic. I got to see it with some really great friends. And then I also got to eat a really, really yummy meal. Oh my goodness, Holy Chuck was a great restaurant recommendation. If you guys happen to be in the Toronto area and you're looking for a good place to eat, I would definitely recommend that. This is, I think, the 3rd check-in now. We're gonna look at this foundation a little bit more closely, and I am in natural light outside at the moment. I have touched up once so far, but the foundation, you know, it's holding up okay, although it is definitely not transfer resistant. I do see it shifting a little bit, but that's probably also because my oils have been gathering and things aren't sitting the way they did initially, but that's fine. That's pretty normal for me. The foundation though is sitting really well on my cheek for the most part. I don't really see it pilling anywhere. It's not accentuating texture, and the best part is it's not clinging to dry patches. And the same goes for the other cheek, my chin. My upper lip area is looking a little bit not so great at the moment. And I've also noticed that around the nostril area, it is starting to gather a little bit and cake. Hopefully you guys can see that. My nose is looking okay. That tends to be the hardest place for foundation to really sit on my face. It's definitely gathered quite a bit over here where my glasses typically sit. So that's the only area where I'd say this foundation is not sitting great, but 9 times out of 10 foundations will not sit very well over there for me. The nature of wearing glasses. If I think back to when I applied this foundation, which was at 10:30 this morning, and the time right now is 7:30, I've had this on for, what is that, 9 hours? Holy moly. A foundation that is still looking good after 9 hours. Sitting pretty good in my books. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the final check-in of the day, and I have officially had this foundation on for 10.5 hours. I was really trying to go to the 12-hour mark, but I have to take this off my face because I'm tired and I want to go to bed. But I definitely wanted to pop on here, show you what my face is looking like, and also give you some final thoughts on this foundation. So first and foremost, let me zoom you in so you can see what's going on, especially in studio lighting. You can see my forehead, which is looking pretty good, although I'm oily all over. That's to be expected. I feel like the foundation right now is kind of sitting on top of my skin as opposed to before where it was nice blended and it was sitting really nicely. But nevertheless, it still isn't grabbing onto dry patches. Some of the foundation, especially along my nose area, as you guys can see, has definitely shifted, and I'd say even disappeared a little bit. I am noticing that anytime you touch your face, the foundation definitely shifts and transfers. You can see right where I put my finger. I mean, my finger still has a bunch of foundation on it, but you can see that there is a missing patch there. So it does shift around when you're getting close to the end of your day, but earlier in the day, things were looking really, really good. Overall, I am really digging this foundation. I think it is an affordable version of the CC cream from It Cosmetics. If you don't want to spend the 50 some odd dollars that this is going to set you back, then this here I believe is going to cost you around the 12 Canadian dollar mark, maybe a little bit less depending on what store you go to. If you're converting it into US dollars, you might be looking at about 10 bucks, maybe less if there is a sale. I also think if you have oily skin, you are going to need to set this with a powder relatively quickly. So as soon as it goes on, powder needs to go on so you can cement this foundation in for the rest of the day. I think it does have really good stay power. As you guys have seen, you can get a really long full day's worth of wear with this particular product, which I do enjoy, but it isn't a mattifying foundation. Aside from this foundation containing sunscreen, SPF 50 is always great to put on your face. It's got the antioxidants as well as the molecules in there that are supposed to help fight against pollution. I do think that you need a mattifying primer with this particular product. So not just something that's going to be pore filling, but something that's also going to help you control your oils throughout the day. Otherwise, you are going to get relatively greasy. I think this is a pretty great value for a pretty great product. Give it a whirl. It is at the drugstore. If you are looking to invest in a new foundation, one that has SPF in particular, then this is definitely one that I would recommend. I think it would work well with a lot of different skin tones as well as skin types. And I think that's gonna do it for this review. I am finally gonna take my face off and go to bed. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, you know the drill. Give it a big thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. If you want to keep up with me outside of YouTube though, you can always follow me on all of my social media, which I will link for you in the description box below. I hope you are all having an amazing day wherever you are in the world. Stay beautiful, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.